I haven't created a video in a while, and so I thought I would start off here again by showing you how to make some paper flowers. The paper flowers seem to be a little bit popular in scrapbooking layouts here again, and using paper embellishments. I've wanted to find out how to make these, and so I finally found out, and now I want to show you how to make these paper flowers for the embellishing of cards or layouts. So what you want to do is take a square sheet of paper, and you want to make sure it's a perfect square, and you don't want to necessarily go smaller than about 3 by 3. This sheet of paper that I have is at 4.5 by 4.5. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a spiral, and it's almost like those little paper models that you used to draw when you were a young kid. And you'll soon see what I mean when I cut this out to show you. And so when I've done this spiral, you want to make sure also that it's not too thin in between each line, because the rose or the flower has to be a little bit thicker, and it has to also be able to sort of hold itself and be sturdy enough. And so now that I've drawn that pencil line, I'm going to take my scissors and just cut that line out. Also to be aware is that you don't necessarily want to use a really heavy cardstock, because you won't be able to move it and manipulate it when you're decorating your layout. And so just cut along that pencil line that you've created. Once you've actually made quite a few of these, you don't necessarily need to make that pencil line. You can just do it on your own without having to draw the lines. And this paper here is also quite a bit thinner than what a regular cardstock is. So what I've done is I've cut out the spiral, and this frame piece you'll just toss away. Now with these flowers that I've made, this is an actual heavy cardstock, and so you can see that it was hard to manipulate the edges here. So again, you might want to stay away from these ones. This one here was a nice thin, and it's got a little bit of a shimmer on this paper. And then this is another one I've made, and I've stamped the edges. So now that I cut this spiral out, and here's what I mean by those paper models that you used to create when you were young. You're just going to start at the end and roll the paper. And you want to roll this paper quite tightly, and then you will release the paper to let it form a flower after you've finished rolling it. And of course you can use pattern paper, you can use just regular plain paper, whatever's going to work with your layouts to color coordinate. And of course this end piece or middle piece is a little bit more difficult to roll, but you're going to use that as your base to glue the rest of the flower onto. Okay, so now I've actually tightened that, and I'm just going to let it go. And you can see how it creates that flower. And now what you want to do is just manipulate it a bit, loosen it up so that it spreads out. Okay. And because this paper is quite thin, it's not going to loosen as much as what these other ones would. Now you're going to take glue and just glue this base. This is what I like to do. You don't have to do this, but it's a good idea to do this, because then that flower just has something to sit on and it doesn't just flop around. Now, a few things that I like to do to create more shape to the flower is to squish it quite literally, like that, or to step on it. If it's a cardstock, you'll have to step on it. and then just curl it around. Okay, so now once I've created that flower, I'm going to take some stamp ink just to add a little bit more dimension to this flower. You can use a glimmer mist, you could use acrylic paint if you wanted to. You could use your Copic markers with a spray. And there you have it.